don't know if you remember this or not, but you and I did a FIFA event together about 2 years ago. It was for charity. I think you played against Trent Alexander-Arnold in FIFA and lost. He's actually really excellent at that game. Not to bring up old stuff here with the loss, but I said something to the effect of, while you were saying goodbye, we're all counting on you to win a World Cup for us one day, which of course was cheeky and you laughed, but I kind of wonder what those kind of comments do to you as the hype and pressure around you and the U.S. men's national team continues to build, especially leading into this World Cup.
Yeah, I guess for me personally, it doesn't really affect me. Of course, every person is a little bit different. Maybe it could affect other players in the team, but I think talking from a team's perspective, it also, isn't really on our head. We know we have a very young, solid, great generation coming through. So, yeah, I mean, of course, this World Cup is going to be difficult like every other one, but yeah, we just have to take it one game at a time and then, yeah, see what happens. But, we're all really excited and we're really motivated. So,
Gio, you were born in the UK. You are Argentinian. I know you mentioned you have of Portuguese descent, which means you're just this global citizen. Does any of that actually come together when you're thinking about the World Cup, this biggest stage of all the best teams in the world coming together, or is it just red, white, and blue through and through at that point?
I mean, I think I'm still a fan of the game. So, yeah, growing up, besides US, I was normally rooting for Argentina. So, those are kind of my roots, and this side of my family where soccer is in our blood. So, yeah, I guess, of course I'm all in for us, but if there's an Argentina game going on, another day when we're not playing, I'll have that one on, and yeah, definitely be rooting for Messi and Argentina.
I like the honesty. I want to take it back to when we first met. Shout out to Steve Nash playing in his game. You go on to Dortmund, the ascension, because we're seeing a lot of youth national team players now saying, hey, if I'm going to be at my best, I got to make that move to Europe and work my way up. You go there and you do it so quickly. But can you shed some light on the ups and downs of that process? How do you go from, playing with the youth at Dortmund to all of a sudden you're on the first team and you're banging in goals?
Yeah, I mean, it all happened pretty quickly, I think, especially through COVID. It was some pretty interesting times. I had to move to a different country when, no one was kind of able to visit me for a big portion of the time. Right after I moved out to my own apartment for the first time. So I guess as on the field, just as much off the field was a lot to learn too. Just taking care of myself and, what it takes to kind of compete at the highest level for 50 or 60 games during a season. So, yeah, it was expected of me to kind of make it to the first team at some point when I was around the time that I did. So, and I expected it from myself, and I think the club also had expectations at the time. So, yeah, so far it's been great. Obviously, last year I had a great start, and then the injuries kind of took over. But yeah, I'm not really looking back on last year, and I think, yeah, I'm still building up fitness after a season of pretty much not playing. So, yeah, I think there's still a long way to go of my goals and where I want to end up. So, yeah, I just got to keep on working.
You touched on it, injuries. I was one that I think my whole career was defined by injuries, overcoming injuries. And it seems like you've had a trouble trying to get healthy, stay healthy. What has that been like for you? Because I know for me, mentally, it was a grind. And then you're like, okay, how do I stay positive? How do I get through rehab? And then try not to overdo it because you're so antsy to get back on the field and perform.
Yeah, I think also for me, what was probably the reason that maybe it took as long as it should have or happened, kept on occurring, and was kind of this just repeating on a weekly to monthly basis of pain and problems that I was having was probably that I never really had an injury before that. So yeah, until I was 18, I never had one injury in my life. I was kind of just playing as a kid, and then yeah, the season gets pretty intense, it gets pretty long, and then yeah, you deal with a muscle injury that you've never had, and you don't really know how to deal with it. You don't understand what the process of the rehab is, regardless of how long and how short it was. And then in the end, when the second one happened, it was just a complete lack of strength in the muscle, and not really ready to play at the moment. But I think now it's in that time, there was obviously a pretty serious injury, so I had some months off of being able to really do anything physically. So I think in the time it was obviously tough mentally, but me and my family decided that it's a great time to kind of work on the mental side of things, and it's only going to help me in the rehab process, and obviously still help me now. So I tried to work a lot mentally, and I feel like it's helped so far.
All right, talk to me then about your new partnership with C4. How much is that helping you in the injury side of things and just getting you where you need to be physically to make sure you can perform at your highest level?
Yeah, it's great. I think, and like I was talking about, the long season and the days when you're a little bit tired and a little bit less motivated, C4 will always give me that extra boost of energy and motivation just to kick me in the right gear and get me ready for training or for a game. So they've been great through the whole process.
Gio, let's talk about pressure, at your age and what this young national team is facing. There's always that phrase of like being too young to actually feel pressure. But obviously, this group has gone through a lot over the last couple of years on the national team side. Do you, at your age, feel pressure now? Do you feel it, or are you still sort of playing free and enjoying it? And maybe they're not mutually exclusive, but do you feel this pressure on your back at your age with the hype you have, expectations?
Yeah, I think there's expectations. I guess individually, I don't feel any pressure. I think as a team, there's probably some expectations, but I guess to say individually, it's obviously a team sport. So I wouldn't put too much pressure on one single guy or I guess the captain or whoever it is or anything. There's no really exception. It's kind of we're all in this together, and that's our mindset going into the tournament, not into the World Cup, and obviously in the World Cups in the future. So it's regardless of who it is, I think it's a team thing. We all have to be in it together, and all the expectations we have for ourselves are known within the room and the meeting rooms that we have. And that's for us to keep to ourselves. So and then I guess individually I don't really feel the pressure. Maybe other guys do, but that's what we rely on our other teammates for, to kind of take that pressure off of each other.
You're a mental giant. The pressure will get to you.